we're live in talkSPORT, talking boxing, of course, as we do in the 12 to 1 hour every Thursday. And the three of us are joined by Ben Shalom, top boxing promoter, of course, alongside Adam Azim. All this talk about who is next for Adam Azim, we shall see in the fullness of time. With Ben with us here, though, it seems as good a time as any to bring this up. Another big noise in the fight game at the moment, one Fabio Wardley, especially after the first round demolition job he did on Fraser Clark. And then, of course, all sorts of talk about the gloves. The gloves that Fabio Wardley was wearing on the night. Was there a problem with the gloves? Was there a potential investigation into Fabio Wardley's gloves, as Ben Shalom suggested? Frank Warren, another boxing promoter, spoke out about that in the last few days.
He's made a rick, hasn't he? And the problem he's got now, what he said is libelous. And has to say it's an investigation. You heard what the Border Control said. How's he investigating anything? He doesn't even have the gloves. I mean, what is he? Clouseau? Does he think he's Inspector Clouseau or in his case, Inspector Clueless? I mean, the man's a complete and utter idiot to even be going down this road. It's a poor excuse for what was a legitimate win. What planet is this guy on?
So it's Frank. Ben, it's as good a time as any. You're with us live. Where are we at with Glovegate?
Wow. Well, first of all, Frank Warren making it about himself or anything to do with him is expected. After the fight and before the fight, there were concerns raised to me by medical professionals, by people in the team, to pass on concerns. That's been highly documented.
Who are
That's
they?
been highly publicised. There's interviews on Sky with doctors that have mentioned things around the gloves. I am not the regulator. I can only pass on concerns and I can only look into things. It's my duty as a promoter, if I have concerns that land on my table, to look at them. Should it be done publicly? No. Have Fabio Wardley or anyone done anything wrong? No. But as I say, concerns were put on my table, and of course we have to and have a duty to ask questions.
Concerns when? I just want to try and get a time frame here. Like when are we talking? Are we talking...
During the week, it was raised a few times by his team, but the gloves were within the rules and were within the regulations, so were passed on the night. Despite that, then obviously after the night, I had doctors come up to me, I had people within the team come up to me that I highly respect, and there's a lot of people in boxing that know what I'm talking about. Is it a public matter? No. Is it concerns that we have to pass along? Because ultimately, all we're in this sport, for me, the number one thing in this sport is safety of the fighters.
Yeah.
And so if concerns are made to me about the safety of the fighters, then I will raise it, no matter what pressure
and
or what people say.
Doctors in the team. What doctors in what team?
I'm not going to bring other people's names into this. This should be a private thing. Do I regret probably saying it publicly? Yes. Am I accusing Fabio Wardley or anyone of any wrongdoing? Absolutely not. However, to receive questions, to receive concerns and not pass them on would be wrong of me, and that's all that is.
And presumably there were protests raised, there were concerns raised by people in Fraser Clark's team.
I don't want to go into it anymore. We're going to do what we're going to make the questions behind the scenes. We don't want to.
But are you backing out of this now, Ben?
No,
you are because of Warren's threat of legal action.
It's nothing to do with legal action. When it's said to me that we're suddenly making excuses or accusing Fabio Wardley of cheating up and wine fighters and deflect from what he's doing, we raised and have.
But you did open that door, though, Ben, didn't you?
And we opened that door. Yeah. But this is nothing to do with Fabio Wardley. It's nothing to do with Frank Warren. It's nothing to do with them. They're not the regulators of the sport. Those gloves were passed. No one broke the rules, and Fraser would have lost regardless of any gloves that were worn. That's not the question.
I think that's the important statement there, because if you're Fabio and you hear what was made public, and as you say, what should have stayed private, it does take a little bit away from Fabio's win.
No, and I get that.
My concern with all this is that, and for fight fans that don't know what goes on behind the scenes, everyone looks at the gloves. So everyone picks up the gloves and has a look. As Adam would tell you, your team has a look at the gloves and they all get signed off. So I don't know how gloves are being signed off and everyone's okay with them and everyone's finally, almost handshake and kumbaya.
The board, the regulator, and decide what gloves are safe to wear. That's it.
Ben, another of your fighters, Ben Whittaker, he was up against Liam Cameron. That ended in a bizarre draw after both men fell out of the ring.
Yeah.
Where are you at with Whittaker? Because various people in the fight game have alleged that Whittaker quit on the night. Did he?
Look, I've spoken on this. To accuse a fighter of quitting is a big accusation. I think when I saw him go over the ropes with a 13-stone man on top of him, having dealt with a neck injury for the former 9 months, I knew we were in trouble. I then get back to the hospital and I see the state of his ankle as well. He's not going to be in the ring for the rest of the year. He was supposed to fight in December. He's obviously gutted. What I'm more devastated is about the performance. His timing wasn't there. It was lackluster. He was nothing that I've seen before. And that is something that he'll have to look
You're going to stick
back.
him back in against Cameron straight away?
I believe that's the fight.
Has to happen. Yeah.
However, I need him to take this time, do his rehab, make sure he comes back fully fit and fully focused. He's become a superstar.
New trainer?
When I first met Ben, yes, he won silver medal, but he was just a normal lad.
Yeah.
Fast forward 12, 18 months, he's one of the most recognised sports people in the country, and I'm not making excuses for him, but that's a lot to deal with mentally, and that can cause anyone distractions, and that can make anyone think that they're here when they're not, and take their eye off the ball.
Adam, as a fighter, how would you
curve.
feel if, as has been thrown at Ben Whittaker, you quit?
Look, in my opinion, I don't think he did quit. I'm friends with Ben as well. So, and the thing is, look, I know Ben inside. He's a fighter. I've seen him multiple times in the gym. He trains hard, and for him, I feel very sorry for him because a lot of people are just like, using a lot of comments about him online and using him as a meme now and everything. But the thing is, he's come a massive name overnight, and it's really hard to deal with sometimes. And for me, in my personal opinion, for him, he should just stay off social media. Put your head down, go see other options, other trainers out there as well. Obviously, if you want to beat Cameron, then my personal opinion, just get another trainer. He has a very good trainer, but you might have to go explore other trainers to see what he needs to learn. Like, I heard that when he was out there, he had to do a lot of interviews and it was a lot of stressful, and he had to get back at 2 a.m. in the morning after interviews and all the press. And
does he need to stop the showboating?
No, he needs to do the showboating.
I think he, personally, the showboating probably... That's how the way he fights is probably, for me, in that fight he should have done the showboating because I think he would have done better, in my opinion. Brilliant. But I think it's because of the occasion's big. He might have got a bit frustrated, he might have got nervous, but you never know. He would have got up, and then that injury could have prevented that in the whole fight and got worse.
Jim, all I would say is this will be the making of Ben Whittaker. People are preying on his downfall. When we see someone successful in this country, and particularly that successful that quickly, and people feel like he doesn't deserve it, they're waiting on him. He'll learn a lot. He'll learn a lot from that experience, and he knows what went wrong.
Let's give you an easy one before we finish off. Are you putting in Eubank Jr. with Conor Benn?
That will depend on whether Conor Benn is licensed by the British Boxing Board of Control.
In the event that is now going to be the case, which most people in boxing think it will, because he'll get a retrospective ban, you're going to put him in.
Yeah, I think that's the only fight that can generate the amount of noise. I think for me, it's the biggest fight in this country. It's an absolutely huge
a welterweight against a middleweight.
It's
great.
This
is
real
credible.
This is when they first worked together, it was about born rivals. It was all about the parents. The history that's gone with them now. The fact that the whole saga with Conor Benn, the history between the two of them, it's become a lot more than that. It's become a lot more personal, and that's what's raised the profile of the fight even further.
The notoriety of Conor Benn is what's raised the profile of this fight.
It's the biggest fight in
over
British
here
boxing.
or Saudi?
Personally, I'd like to see it over here.
It does a stadium over
because
here.
it does a stadium and it's a huge event.
Stadium,
But of course, the finances will.
I won't be surprised if he actually does Wembley as well.
Yeah. Do you want to get on a Riyadh season card soon, Adam?
If the options are there, let's see. But do you know what? It's whether for timing for me.
Yeah.
If it's everything's timing for me, and whenever the best options are out there for me.
Well, your timing was great against O'Hara Davis. Well done with that, Adam. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure having you in here.
Thank you.
And today's no exception. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to you.
Ben,
guys.
thank you for coming in.
Thank you very
from your
much.
sick bed. We appreciate it. Adi Oladipo, top work as always.
Thank you.
As for you, I'll see you soon, Mr. Jordan.
You
we'll
will.
be back
Next
Monday.
week.
Neither of us on tomorrow. The boys, in actual fact, Sam Matavis and Alex Kruk coming live from Istanbul, Turkey tomorrow. The morning after the night before being Fenerbahce, Manchester United. We're coming up to 1.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.